We're going to shift gears and invite Jay Monty from Everett up to the stage. Woo! We invited Jay before we knew that Everett would be winning this gift from the Bar Foundation because you guys put down an amazing pop-up bus lane that got attention nationally. So tell us how you did it.
Sure. Thank you, Stacy. So again, I'm Jay Monty. I'm the transportation planner for the city of Everett. And we're going to talk about the Everett bus lane for a few minutes. And we've nicknamed it tactical transit, right? It's the idea that we're going to do something that is low cost, flexible, quick, and we can do it on our own. We don't need a huge assistance from the federal government, the state government, all their important partners, of course. Quick snapshot of Everett. If you're not familiar, take a ride out here, visit us. We're 50,000 people crammed into 3.4 square miles. And actually, we're less than that when you discount our harbor area and our industrial area. So we're very densely populated, a large environmental justice community, and we have no rapid transit stations, none. So we have no key busters, no subways, no trolleys. So all of our residents rely on the local bus service every day, and that 3-mile trip from Everett into downtown Boston takes 45 minutes most mornings. So in 2015, we partnered with Mass DOT and with consulting firm Nelson Nygaard, and we produced the Everett Transit Action Plan. Now, the title kind of says it all. We were really adamant that what came out of this plan was something actionable, something we could do tomorrow when this plan came out. The date on that plan says November 2016. The bus lane opened in December 2016, about 3 weeks after that plan was official. Took a lot of coordination, and the T was a great partner in this. We began meeting with them, figuring out what roadway widths they needed, what type of notice to their drivers, things like that. I love this service advisory because if you look down in the middle, you'll see, may experience early arrivals. I don't know how many service advisories tell you you're going to get your bus earlier than you expected. Our DPW crews and our parking enforcement officers were absolutely critical. So the week before we started, we went out with a spray paint can. We marked an X on the road where every single cone, there were about 300 or 400 of them, would go on the road. This way, when the crews came out, it was easy and quick to drop the cones. And if a cone got knocked over, if it got pushed aside, it was easy and quick to flip it back up and put it where it needed to be. And of course, parking. That was the big ticket item here. We eliminated 130 parking spaces during peak hour. And I'll explain a little bit more about why that wasn't as hard as it seemed. But we did have 3 or 4 parking enforcement officers out there all 4 hours, and today we have a single officer that spends her entire time enforcing the lane every morning. Public relations was key to this as well. So we have a great communications department in the city of Everett. They reached out to TV stations, newspapers, magazines, everybody to get some positive reinforcement to our residents, positive enforcement to our region, to really make people feel that this was important, that it was positive, that we were going in the right direction. And then I'm happy to say that this fall we made it permanent. So the cones are no longer. We have paint, and we have red color down the lane, and we even have a bike lane as a part of it now as well. And this is as of about a month ago we finished the paint. So what are the big takeaways, right? One of the questions I've been asked a number of times is, what was your public process? How many public meetings did you have? How did you reach out to your residents? And the reality was this: we didn't do any of that because the pilot is the public process. So we could have as many meetings as we want, we could have as many surveys and discussions, but the reality is you're not going to find out what the true reaction is until you do it. And we came out, we said we're going to do it for a week. And tell us how you like it. Call us, email us, Facebook us, tell us how it goes. And we had about a dozen complaints. That's it. The car drivers loved it because the buses weren't blocking their path of travel. The bikes loved it because they got essentially a dedicated bike lane in the morning. And the transit riders, of course, loved it as well. We had a few coffee shops and folks who were a little bit stressed about their parking situation, but the mayor was very proactive in asking them for their patience and that people would find other places to park, they would come back. Next, utilize your existing practices, right? So, believe it or not, we take parking away once or twice a week in these same hours to sweep the street. So this isn't a big lift, really, to say we're going to do it 5 days a week instead of 1 or 2. We do it, our parking enforcement is familiar with it, our police are familiar with it, our residents are familiar with it. They know where to park when they can't park in the bus lane. Next, don't expect perfection. We have curb bump outs, we have schools, we have funeral homes, we have coffee shops. These are all reasons I've heard that this wasn't going to work, but it worked. The bus drivers are trained, they know how to navigate these situations, they're going to be fine. perception is as important as reality. So one of the great things that the T and MassDOT did for us was they surveyed the riders in that first week. And believe it or not, the time they thought they were saving was about double the time that they were actually saving. So we shaved time by about 20%, which was about 2 or 3 minutes. They thought they were saving 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 minutes. So for them, this was huge. They loved it. And as I said before, even the vehicles on the street, the drivers, they thought they were making better time down Broadway every morning. Were they really? Probably not. But they felt, since the bus wasn't in their way anymore, it was a benefit. So perception is key here. And don't, take credit for your fringe benefits to your other modes. The bike lane was a benefit we got. Now every morning, we have buses every 6 or 8 minutes. That leaves a pretty big gap for, for bikes to come in and not be worried that they're going to get run down by a bus and essentially protected from traffic as a result. So that's been a huge benefit. And last but not least, and probably the most important, is enforcement. I've gone out a couple of times to watch our parking enforcement officer, and she is a hero. She jumps on hoods, she writes tickets faster than you can blink your eye, and she does it every day, day in and day out, and I'm sure there's people that are threatening her and yelling at her, but she does this without complaint. And the reality is, without the enforcement, you won't have a bus lane. So where are we going? And of course, we're very thankful to the Bar Foundation to awarding us the grant. But here's where we're going next. We are going to put signal priority in next. And when you have a bus lane, a dedicated bus lane, this is actually pretty easy because all you need is vehicle detection. You don't need fancy GPS. You don't need to track the buses. If the only vehicles in the lane are the bus, you just need to detect the vehicle. So we're going to roll that out hopefully in the spring. It's already in design. Howard Sten Hudson is our design firm who's helping us out with that. We're improving the stops. So as we mentioned, we're going to put in the level boarding platforms, and we're going to consolidate some stops as well. We're also in receipt of a grant to expand into Lower Broadway. And Lower Broadway is a little tougher. It's going to require actually widening the road. We don't have a parking lane to take, but that's on our radar. Hopefully, the next 3 to 5 years, we'll be able to do that as well. And cooperation with our state partners. Our bus lane ends in a state roadway, the biggest choke point in the corridor. So it's important that we coordinate and work with MassDOT to find solutions to that as well. So if you haven't been out to visit us, please come out, take a ride. It's a nice, smooth bus ride every morning. And talk to the riders if you're thinking about doing this in your community. They have a lot to tell you as to how well it works, the challenges, and all that. So thank you very much.